All right, Shalom. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Chakwarash. Also want to give double honors unto the apostles and elders of bishops of Great Millstone, as well as the Akim out there enduring this truth across the four corners of the earth, preaching and teaching and prophesying through the spirit of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, in truth and sincerity, as well as the men and women that follow, and those who might look like the other nations, but are of the nation of Israel on their father's side by blood. And also salutations and blessings to the elect of Yasha Allah, which consists of the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. So just doing a quick lesson, I believe I was going to title this, This is How He Governs the World. Okay. And speaking about Yahweh, all right, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by way of the angels, by way of his word not going out void. All right. So getting into this article, right, and I was reading, it's a pretty good read, and I might not read everything, but I'm going to read a few paragraphs. So this says U.S. intelligence, which came out yesterday. Well, the 28th. I think it's the 30th right now. It says U.S. intelligence reports have raised doubt about whether interim Venezuelan President Delcy Rodriguez will cooperate with the Trump administration by formally cutting ties with U.S. adversaries. Four people familiar with the report said in recent days. U.S. officials have said publicly they want the interim president to sever relations with close international allies like Iran, China, and Russia, including expelling their diplomats and advisors from Venezuela. So knowing that through the spirit of Yahweh Hashem Shai, this tension is constantly there. They didn't. Russia then took jabs at the U.S. U.S. then took jabs at Russia, and the same deal with Iran as well. Well, shit, Trump, went over there and bombed Iran. You know what I'm saying? Forget the name, Operation Midnight or something like that. But and that's why. See, through the spirit, man, from the apostles on down, these things have been said, constantly speaking on World War III over the years. All right. And the reason why I wanted to title it this is because this is how the Lord governs the world. He'll have it to where, different presidents was in there. They was handling things. They was the face of whatever it was for that time to handle things a certain way. Now you got Nero 47 in there, and he comes with the bravado and the attitude and the demeanor of I don't care and I'm going to do what I want. Right. And for the most part, he is. And ultimately, it's Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai who's in control of him. So the Lord then set up. I was sitting here thinking about, man, let me see. Is it Nico? Gotta find it real quick. Turned him into I might I think it's 35. Yeah, all these highlights. So I'm gonna just start here. This is 2 Chronicles 35:20. It says, after all this, when Josiah had prepared the temple, Necho, king of Egypt, came up to fight against Carchemish by Euphrates, and Josiah went out against him. But he sent ambassadors to him, saying, what have I to do with thee, thou king of Judah? I come not against thee this day, but against the house wherewith I have war. For the Most High commanded me to make haste, forbear thee from meddling with the Most High, who is with me, that he destroy thee not. And that's the thing. The Lord will, we're going to have to come back to this. The Lord will he controls the minds of the kings, you know. Is it I always forget that. I'm gonna try 21. Call Allah Yabashim Shot. This is a Proverbs 21:1. It says, the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord Yahweh, as the rivers of water. He turneth it whithersoever he will. So he have certain events happen, certain alliances happen, certain oppositions happen, and he can direct, all right, and steer prophecy, direct and steer the world into what's already predestined. That's what make it predestined, because he's controlling it. So being that he is omnipotent and all powerful and the most high, he can say what's going to happen because he controls everything. He governs the world. Let's get that. Keep on saying it. This is Sirach 18:1. It says, he that liveth forever hath created all things in general. Matter of fact, I'm going to read down a little bit further too, because I think some people done forgot, right? That the Lord ain't new to this. He true to this, man. All right. The Heavenly Father ain't new to this. He true to this. It says, he that liveth forever hath created all things in general. The Lord only is righteous, and there is none other but he, who governeth the world with the palm of his hand, and all things obey his will. Right? That's why when certain kings, i.e. Nebuchadnezzar, get the bucking up like he running things, the Lord humbled his ass. I forget, it was during it was in the book of Acts. But you had one of the kings, he went out there, he was talking to the people, he was feeling real good, extra proud, and the Lord took him. All right. So these things happen because the Lord controls all, and everything obey his will. Okay. It says, for he is the king of all, by his power dividing holy things among them from profane. To whom hath he given power to declare his works? And who shall find out his noble acts? Who shall number the strength of his majesty? And who shall also tell out his mercies? Now, he did give a portion to his prophets. All right. To the men of the Lord, they got some of that. But we don't know everything through the Spirit. You know, through the Spirit, we know what's been given us. All right. But we don't know everything. We can't tell you when the Lord is coming. Yahweh Shai didn't even know. All right. We can't tell you what happened to the tribe of Dan, you know, or if the tribe of Dan is going to have their own. We can't, certain questions is, you know, but we know in part and prophesy in part. That's why we are watchmen, you know, just like within this article. When you see in those names, Iran and China and Russia, knowing that these is big players to play a part in the the judgment of Babylon, aka America, aka the US. All right. And Russia being God throughout the scriptures in certain cases, and saying that he's going to be a buckler and a shield to certain nations. And as you can see, a lot of these nations are starting to sever ties with the U.S. You know, well, not like to a screeching halt. I would say they starting to look at them funny, you know, and starting to do business with these with their adversaries, as it said, you know. And that's what's going on in this article. They like, well, she ain't getting on board. You know, you got to sever those ties. And she like, well, they ain't did nothing to me, you know. I'm going to keep reading. It says, as for the wondrous works of the Lord, there may nothing be taken from them, neither may anything be put unto them, neither can the ground of them be found out. When a man hath done, then he beginneth, and when he leaveth off, then he shall be doubtful. Meaning the Lord works is perfect. He everything, and I always say that he's very particular. If you understand how he told Noah how to build a boat and how many cubits and make the room like this and the window like that and use this type of wood and so on and so forth. It was all for a reason, man. All right. As well as when he was speaking about how to make the temple, even down to the fabrics that the Levites wore. It's just the priests wore. It's just everything. He just don't just do things. All right. He ain't doubting none of his works. It says, what is man and whereto serveth he? What is his good and what is his evil? The number of a man's days at the most are 100 years. As a drop of water into the sea, and as a gravel stone in comparison of the sand, so are 1,000 years to the days of eternity. So even if we was to be able to live up to 1,000 years, it still has nothing on eternity, the Ancient of Days. All right, that's the power that governs the world, man. Okay. Let me go back over here. It says, verse 21, it says, but he sent ambassadors unto him. Let me go down to the second half. It says, forbear thee from meddling with the Most High, who is with me, that he destroy thee not. Right? Because me, remember, the Lord, he called, I gotta get it because I can't remember it right now. This is Isaiah 45:1. It says, thus saith the Most High Yahweh to his anointed, to Cyrus, whose right hand I have holden to subdue nations before him, and I will loose the loins of kings, to open before him the two-leaved gates, and the gates shall not be shut. Meaning what? He is directing him. He called him his anointed. Does that mean he chosen and he gonna get a new body and be in a chariot? No, he's just chosen to do the bidding of the Lord. The Lord put him in that position, so he was the one the Lord chose to set that decree to allow us to start building, to go and build the second temple. That's it. That's all. No emotional ties. He just had a job, and the Lord made sure it got executed. All right. Going back to it. So it says, verse 22, it says, nevertheless, Josiah would not turn his face from him, but disguise himself, that he might fight with him, and hearken not unto the words of Necho, for the mouth of the Most High, from the mouth of the Most High, and came to fight in a valley of Megiddo. And the archers shot at King Josiah, and the king said to his servants, have me away, for I am sore wounded. His servants therefore took him out of the chariot and put him in a second chariot that he had. And they brought him in Jerusalem, and he died and was buried in one of the sepulchres of his father. And all Judah and Jerusalem mourned for Josiah. So he got in the way of the Most High. If he would have just minded his business, all right, he would have been straight. Because I can't remember, but I believe Necho was going to help. I can't say if this is the Battle of Carchemish or not. He was either going, I think he was going to help the Assyrians against the Babylonians, Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I believe he was going to help the Assyrians fight against the Babylonians, or it might have been the Babylonians against the Assyrians, one of the two, but at the end of the day, that was all, I believe it was Assyrians fighting the Babylonians, because the Babylonians started to come into power and everything. All right. Hey, and what the Lord had that happen due to what? Because it was prophesied that Babylon was going to be getting on our ass. That was going to be part of our judgment. So he needed them to start up. It's just the Lord is governing everything. All right. Call Lord Yahweh Shai. So go back to this article real quick. So it says, let me see. Um, It says abandoned longtime allies. It says the CIA has previously assessed that officials loyal to Maduro, including Rodriguez, were best positioned to govern the country following his ouster. But critics of Trump's Venezuela strategy have expressed doubts about the wisdom of keeping Maduro's loyalists in place as the country interim leader. The concerns about Rodriguez's reliability were present prior to the U.S. military operation, said two sources. For Venezuela, the U.S. directive mean abandoning its closest ally outside the region. Iran has helped Venezuela repair oil refineries, while China has taken oil as repayment for debt. Russia has supplied weaponry, including missiles, to Venezuela's military. So that's what they're using their oil for as a bargain. And then boom, U.S. coming there. No, we running this. And you got to stop doing business with them, even though y'all helping each other out. So people these kings gonna keep on. That's why they gonna hate the whore. Because has thou become weak as we? Everybody, this ain't, how about I say the ancient days? This ain't, decades ago where people were timid when it came to the U.S. because these other nations have missiles as well. They understand you was the only one that made fire come down from heaven, i.e. the atomic bombs. But, now there's bigger and better bombs, and you're not the only one with them. And it's just, once again, call all Yabashim al-Shai, because that's the second death. It's not a coincidence. All right, it's prophecy. It's the governing of the Lord. 2 Peter chapter 3. I'm gonna just get straight to the point. It says, we go to 10. It says, but the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, those bombs, nuclear weapons, and warheads, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burnt up. Seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of person ought ye to be in all holy conversation and godliness, looking for and hasting unto the coming of the day of the Most High, and the day of the Lord, wherein the heavens being on fire shall be dissolved, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. So that's what's coming. All right. That's what's coming. Fire is coming to burn up all the elements, to judge Babylon, man. Go to Jeremiah. All right. What did he tell Jeremiah? Say in Jeremiah, all these that do what? Bend the bow. Where we at? Need some more highlights up in here. Dang. Let me see. Jeremiah 51:3. Against him that bendeth and against. Nah, that's not spare no air. Where are we? Come on, man. $50 and $14. Okay, here we go. This is Jeremiah 50 and 14. I will go to 13. It says, because of the wrath of the Most High, it shall not be inhabited, but it shall be wholly desolate. Right? All the millions of warheads. Everyone that goeth by Babylon shall be astonished and hiss at her, at all her plagues, because this once was a great city, and a place to be. And, you know, people dreamed of coming to this place in a sense, you know, came here for opportunities, did business with it, you know, far as merchants and everything. And then it's just going to be desert land, man. All right. It says, verse 14, put yourselves in array against Babylon round about, all ye that bend the bow. And that bow represents what? Those silos. Shoot at her. What are they shooting? Spare no arrows. What are those arrows? Those nuclear missiles. For she had sinned against Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Shout against her round about. She hath given her hand. Her foundations are fallen. Her walls are thrown down. For it is the vengeance of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Take vengeance upon her as she hath done. Do unto her. And that's what happened. You know, Babylon has went about throughout the years, messing with everybody and messing with everything, just like they did with Venezuela. All right. And now people are starting to get fed up. You know, so this is just all prophecy. This is the Lord governing the world, man. All right. This is the Lord governing the world. OK. And call all y'all Bashim Yahushai for it, because we almost out. All right. Almost out of here. Now, if you read in the article, you know, there's another lady that was speaking on. Let's get governed real quick. So it says to rule with authority, to steer, be at the helm, rule, command, direct, to direct, rule, guide, or govern. All right, to steer, to pilot. And that's what the Lord is doing to society. That's what he's doing to this age. All right, this eon. Okay, these times. Matter of fact, we'll end it on that. Gotta end it on that. It's the 2 Ezra 4:37. It says, by measure hath he measured the times, and by number hath he numbered the times, and he doeth not move nor stir them until the said measure be fulfilled. Everything is already mapped out on a timeline of the Lord. And it's just gonna happen in its time. You know? That's why he tell us to be patient. You know, though it tarry, wait for it. For it shall surely come, it will not tarry, because at any moment things can go down and pop off. Especially now, we just in them times where, you know, we in them end times, baby. You know, we in them times where anything can pop off and boom, something happen. They can bring in the MOTB. Boom, you know, you already got martial law on the edge with the Insurrection Act they keep speaking about, because of, you know, ICE is out here being vigilantes. All right. But these things were spoke about by the prophets, by the spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai from the apostles on down. And that's what's wrong with these clowns out here calling themselves Israelites. Y'all out here doing interviews and talking to Christians and doing military drills and shit. We ain't got time for, we got this word to teach this word. That's why the Lord gave it to us, to trust in him, man. You know, y'all need to go read, what's that? Psalms 56. They need IUIC, ISUPK, whoever want to act like this is a military and all of that shit, man. Y'all need to go read Psalms 56, man. We supposed to be trusting in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, man. You know, that's where our power always resided at, right? In Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. We didn't get ourselves out of Egypt. We didn't lead ourselves through the wilderness. We didn't get ourselves into the land. All right, we didn't destroy. It was the name of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai that all of those nations and heathens had learned, man, because of his power. All right, and guess what? They're going to learn it again in these times. That's why he's governing the world once again, as he always have. Really, he ain't never left off. All right, we just have forgot, but all things still continue, you know. Hey, so with that, Lord willing, you was edified, exhorted, and Lord willing, we allowed to endure unto the end. Once again, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rachar Kodash, Shalom.